What's up, guys? aznaFk here, and we got some really cool news from the devs of Neverness to Everness. They responded to a little bit of the feedback that they had received over the last day for the two trailers, the, I guess, cinematic trailer and the gameplay combat trailer. So they posted it on their X account and gave us some Q&A. So let's dive in and see what they had to say. So I do have some kind of context with this. I am a day one Tower Fantasy player. I've been on the receiving end of the devs' responses to some feedback and criticisms in the past. I've noticed that a lot of times, and hopefully all of this stuff is kind of fixed, but in the past, there has been a lot of communication things that have been lost in translation. So whether it be how to redeem for rewards, how to get certain things, you know, the timing of certain things coming out, when certain characters are coming onto the standard banner, there's been a lot of weird issues in the past where the phrasing was very ambiguous and the community thought one thing, and in reality, the devs meant something completely different, but phrased it wrong. So maybe it's something that's just bad translation or something like that. So hopefully they got somebody different on the team that is talking to global and responding. So just wanted to throw that out there because I have been on, you know, the viewing side of some of this feedback for their games in the past, and it hasn't been that great. Needless to say, let's jump into this and see what they've got going on. So after the release of our announcement trailer and gameplay trailer, we received a lot of feedback from players worldwide. I'm sure that they did. I'm actually glad that they did because that means that people are excited about this, you know. They didn't just watch it, they are excited. They wanted to give their feedback and hope that it gets better. So we saw comments like, this design is exactly what I want, and this gameplay will definitely be fun, as well as longer suggestions saying this part of the design needs more refinement, and this design would be even better if done differently. So obviously they're going to be calling out certain things. All this feedback is very valuable to us, and we appreciate every player who watched our announcement trailer and gameplay trailer. We also thank you for your attention and support for Neverness to Everness. We would like to take this opportunity to talk more about NTE and share some of our future plans with you. And then they just link over so you can reserve your spot and pre-register, which is great. Let's just get into these. Can I like hide this shit? Okay. Let's make this a little bit bigger. Hopefully you can see it. I don't want to block it with my dumbass head. Okay. They've already said that. That's exactly what it was before. All right, so first question. After watching the trailer, I'm very excited, but also worried about optimization using Unreal Engine 5. Will the game be well optimized, especially for mobile play? So we know that, you know, when you're using these high engines, what types of phones are going to even be able to run this kind of thing? You know, there was some kind of optimization problems with porting it to PlayStation as well. Tower Fantasy, I mean. They say optimization for multi-platform play is a key focus for us. Get the most money from the most platforms as possible. Obviously, we've received your concerns about mobile adaptation. Rest assured, we will do our best to ensure a smooth experience on mobile and cloud platforms, minimizing the quality gap with other platforms. So they do have some experience with this. Hopefully they have some people that they can lean on to really dive into this and make it better. Mobile obviously is a gold mine, so having a good mobile game, especially in a gacha, is, I think, key. So they're going to do their best to do that. I will probably just be playing this on PC, so no issues there, I'm sure. We'll do this one last because I'm kind of blocking it a little bit, but okay, next question about action system. The action system still lacks polish, especially the running animation of Zero, which looks weird. They said, we have seen a lot of feedback from players about the lack of smoothness in character movements, such as running and getting in and out of vehicles. We have already started further polishing the details of the action system to bring everyone a better exploration experience. I noticed a little bit of jank, but realistically, it's not even in beta yet. So there's a lot of time for them to fix things. With Tower Fantasy, there was definitely some weird animation things, running, standing on ledges, getting on your mounts. You know, there was some weirdness to it. But it's good to see that they've already been, you know, seeing comments about this and are going to address it, so that's great. Combat system. Obviously, this one is important. The biggest shortcoming in the trailer seems to be the combat. Targeting, interactions, and other aspects are lacking. I agree. It seemed kind of standard, like mid-tier level attacks. Obviously, E, Q, there was an R, but it could have been tightened up. I think Asmongold said the same thing. Let's see. So they said, as a supernatural world, combat based on Esper abilities and anomalies, which I'm guessing are your, talents and stuff like that, is a crucial aspect for us. We have received and carefully summarized your feedback on combat interactions, targeting, effects, and other optimization suggestions based on the trailer. We are currently working hard on these optimizations, so please rest assured. So this is good. I'm guessing that they have a giant whiteboard with all of the different things that were called out, and probably ranked based on the number of callouts. So it's good to be vocal. If you don't say anything, nothing changes, right? So if you saw something strange with the combat or with how, targeting, I don't know. I'm going to go back and rewatch the trailer with a, little bit more of a microscope on the combat system, see exactly when the buttons are pushing, what happens with the animations and stuff like that. It didn't look bad. I think it's a great framework to start on and just get better on. Let me move my head out of the way for this one. Okay. Oh, shit. So, UI. The UI doesn't seem to match the art style of the open world. It needs optimization. UI is one of those things that I think comes last, as long as there's a basic framework for people to kind of see what the different things are that you have to interact with and how to get to those things. Then they put, the UI on top of it. The UI, the UX rather, the user experience, going between the different screens and where things are laid out is obviously the most important. UI, then on top of it is how it feels, the user interaction. So it's how you're actually, kind of using it, seeing it, that kind of stuff. So they said it doesn't match the art style. I don't even remember, so maybe I didn't really care that much, but let's see. So they said, we have received feedback that the current UI does not match the game's tone. Comprehensive optimization of the UI system has been added to our list of improvements. So that's cool. I think, in terms of, let's just move this back down. In terms of UI, it's important. We're playing Zenless Zone Zero right now. A lot of people kind of nitpicked the UI there. But I think whenever you're playing a new game, it's a little bit different. You don't know exactly where stuff is. You're kind of basing it off of whatever you played previously because all the shortcuts. You can do everything very, very fast and efficient. So learning a new one is kind of cumbersome sometimes. So let's see how they do with the UI later on. Next question was about credibility of the single take PV. What the hell does that mean? The gameplay trailer promises a lot, but I want to know, can the game really be played seamlessly from start to finish? Okay, so this is one of those things where you saw, you kind of went around and entered different things where in other games there would be loading screens. When you were in your apartment, you did that like gravity ability and ran up the wall and around and then glided down to your car, and it was, seamless. If that's true, fuck, that's awesome. So let's see what they say. We can assure you that the current content we have developed, including most of the gameplay shown in the trailer, can be experienced seamlessly. That's good. However, there are indeed a few story-driven gameplay segments that require loading screens. Okay, that's obvious. There's going to be trailers, or not trailers, but like cutscenes and stuff like that. So that makes sense. Objectively speaking, achieving 100% seamless loading presents various challenges in game development, but striving toward this goal and ensuring an uninterrupted, smooth gaming experience will always be a top priority in our development process. So that's cool. So that's their North Star, right? That they want that total seamless thing. There's going to be cutscenes. There's going to be, story-driven beats that take you out of that seamlessness, show you something, and then drop you back in. Maybe you pass out and you wake up, and that's another way to load something. So, there's ways around it, kind of like in cinematography when you want to cheat a cut. There's different camera techniques to do that. Anyway, doesn't matter. It's good that they, are addressing this, and it's something for us to look on for the future, but also hold them to, because they said, can be experienced seamlessly. Most of the gameplay. That's sick. Okay, vehicle and housing systems. So these are really cool with the customization and stuff like that. With vehicle customization, there must be racing, right? Will there be online multiplayer gameplay? Okay, so this is something I kind of called out in my review video of the trailers. Obviously, this is a single player game. It would be dope if it was an MMO, but obviously that's not going to happen. So what do they have to say about this? Rest assured, the urban open world gaming of Neverness to Everness will not be limited to what was shown in the trailer. We can reveal a little bit. Both the vehicle and housing systems will have online multiplayer modes in future versions, and related UGC, which is user-generated content, gameplay is already in the planning stages. Stay tuned. Okay, so the vehicle thing, they have experience with this on Tower of Fantasy. There were events that, well, obviously that was an MMO, but there were instance-based vehicle racing segments where you would go to a specific place, and at certain times throughout the server day, different events would trigger, and it would be like, I forget, 20, 30, whatever it was, players that would then participate in a vehicle race. They weren't actually that fun, but I think it was also through a desert, and the controls were just total fucking shit. There were really cheap like secrets and shortcuts that you could take, and I did not like the vehicle racing in Tower of Fantasy at all. It felt very RNG based because enemies would spawn in front of you out of nowhere, and you would crash, and you would, if it was like Mario Kart, you'd be like stalled for a minute. So hopefully whoever developed the one in Tower of Fantasy has nothing to do with this one. The drivability on NTE looks a little bit better. It's more like GTA style, which I think will be a little bit more fun. So we'll see how that goes. But housing system multiplayer. See, that's funny because there's no, according to this last question, it's seamless from, at least I'm just assuming, seamless from your home to open world. If there's multiplayer with the housing system, I don't understand how that could really be. In Tower of Fantasy, you had this island that was its own separate place. It was it was outside of the playable world. It was its own little island thing. And not that you could really decorate it. It wasn't really like that. But you had different shops there, and you could visit your friends to buy materials and stuff like that at their islands. Artificial Island is what it was called, if you wanted to look it up. I'm curious what that means. It might just be visiting. I'm not sure, but okay. So there is multiplayer gameplay for the future. Hopefully it's not playing with each other's cats. We'll see. Okay, stories. Question was, I'm very interested in the open world gameplay, but the story shouldn't be lacking, right? Tower Fantasy story was very weird. And a crucial question, can the story be skipped? That's funny. I'm skipping all of the story in Wuthering Waves right now, and I'm really thankful for that. It's funny because devs and voice actors and everybody, artists, put so much time into crafting that part, and people just blow right the fuck past it. They do not give a shit. Some people do. Bless their hearts. Sometimes I'm the complete opposite. I could not give a crap. So, to avoid spoilers, we'll keep the story details under wraps for now, which means they probably haven't developed shit about it, which is fine. However, we can assure you that the tone of our story is humorous, lighthearted, and whimsical, just as defined in the game introduction. A lighthearted comedy. Okay. We aim to bring you an enjoyable, anomalous adventure. And as for that important question everyone is concerned about, rest assured the story can be skipped. I wonder if that's painful for like a dev to put, like, yeah, don't worry, you can skip all this hard work that we put into, just go right past it. We don't care. We don't care. Does it make them work less on it? I'd love to see the statistics of in Genshin, in Zenless, in Wuthering Waves, like how many people hit that skip button. Well, in Genshin, you can't really skip. You could just mash the button. But, okay. And then this one, let's move me again. Question about the character design. Oh, what the hell happened? Character design and model quality. The characters shown in the trailer didn't really appeal to me, and the models seem quite average. I actually disagree with that. I think Mint and Anomaly look really cool. And that Ninja Girl, she could probably be boosted up a little bit in terms of design, but I think she's pretty cool too. Answer. We've received a lot of suggestions, oh boy, from players regarding character design and model quality, and we have taken them to heart. We are currently working on a series of optimizations for character rendering and design. We will also be introducing more new characters. Oh, it's a gacha. And we welcome your continued valuable suggestions and feedback. You have valuable suggestions. That just means we want to know how you want to spend your money, so please tell us what you want. Here's the thing. The beginning characters always are kind of mid, and they just get cooler and cooler and cooler as time goes. I think the artists get a little bit more freedom once some money comes in, and they get to be a little bit more wacky and kind of zany with the designs. I think we've seen that with Genshin a little bit. You know, you can tell a Gen 1 character versus the latest gens. There's a little bit more detail, a little bit more, you know, just cooler design work, a little bit more attention. So, okay. You know, something to keep in mind. And let's go to this last section. I'll just move my ass over here. Boom. Okay. Is it gonna exit again? No. Okay, so test schedule. The first impression is great, but you won't go silent after releasing the trailer, right? Please don't make us wait forever. Okay, this is something that, you know, open communication is good. We want to know from the devs, like, what their timeline is to updating us. They did say in September there was something coming, so they'll probably address that here. So let's see. Regarding the next steps for the game, we actually included a small Easter egg in the announcement trailer, which many players have noticed. Neverness to Everness will make its first offline exhibition appearance in September. I think that Easter egg was just like the last frames of the trailer. We look forward to meeting you soon and bringing more exciting new content. So what does offline exhibition actually mean? Like a live event? What's happening in September? I'll do some research on that one, but they know that we want to hear from them, and drip marketing works. You know, you want to keep people involved and excited all along the way, so I guess we'll see what happens in September. That's only, you know, a couple months away, so. Okay, and last question, open world settings. I noticed there was no combat in the city shown in the trailer. Does this mean that all battles in the game are triggered in the inner world? This is something that I actually asked myself in the reaction video. You're driving around a lot, and I was like, do you have to go outside of that city area to actually fight something? You know, we did see that like Silent Hill type thing happen, and then, you know, the control type situation where then you were transported to another realm, I'm guessing. So let's see what they said. About this question, you might have also noticed from the game introduction that this is a world where humans and supernatural beings are inseparable. The anomaly space, okay, that's what they're calling it, shown in the trailer is just the specific rule set of that particular anomaly. There are many other anomalies with different rules that can be encountered and fought in the open world. So I guess we saw two. We saw that one anomaly where all of a sudden, like, that red thing came across the screen, everything started going red. Those enemies came up, you fought them, and then you went through the doorway to, I guess they're calling it the anomaly space. Then we also saw when you were driving around, that blue flame motorcycle guy spawned in front of us, was driving around, and then we were transported to something else. We didn't see how that ended up, but those were two. So, okay. I think this is great that they address these questions. Wait, this is great communication. This is exactly what we need to see more in this space. That's true. I think this is how game devs should be with their audience. Communicative. You know, let us know what's going on. Because we're waiting months, sometimes years for these games, you kind of want to keep people on the hook. So, you know, feed them a little bit of information. Let them know that you've listened and that you have a plan to implement some of those things. I think, you know, in terms of what this game is going to offer, time will tell. doesn't cost anything to pre-register. Let's get those numbers up. Let's show them, you know, we're excited. We're going to support, you know, what they plan to do. Yeah. Thanks, guys. Let me know your thoughts. How did they handle the questions? Like I said before, Tower of Fantasy before was very, I'm going to say, bad at communication. The phrasing, translations might have been just really bad, and it was very confusing for players. Hopefully that's not the case with NTE. And yeah, let's just take it from here. Guys, I will see you on stream. Take it easy.